This time I am going to cover torso and rest of the body. Now you can see already that I have completed the torso part. That's because there was nothing special here, so I didn't feel like making video for this simple part. It was just like drawing loops over here and just straight away pulling it down to the bottom. Very simple task. And one thing I especially took care of is when doing this part over here. तो मैंने यहाँ से loops bend करके, I mean this entire area, this loop, I just pulled it over here near the chest and इसको shoulder के ऊपर से ले जाके यहाँ तक transfer कर दिया. And then after this again extruded it and all that. So nothing special about it. Just made sure that this circle is maintained properly because इसमें से arm and all that वो सब चीज़ें निकालनी होंगी. Plus I have kept 10 loops over here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 loops for the arm. Should be more than enough. Here I have used one more thing. Just want to show it to you guys. So I have like tried to maintain the loops of the neck, and I wanted it to continue to the chest because we are going to stitch the neck and the torso in one single geometry. Here I had to increase number of loops because पीछे का part कुछ ज़्यादा ही flat हो रहा था and I needed 2 loops at least. So यहाँ पर 2 loop add किए. We'll see उनको कैसे manage करें. It's a pretty easy task. There's nothing complex about it. Just notice that I had to adjust these 2 vertices. Okay. All right. So I think now it's time for us to stitch this torso part to the head. Let's do it right now. First of all, we'll select both these parts. Let's save this file first. Just in case अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई, we'll just load it back. So mesh and combine. Okay. Now I want to select this part F10, this edge, right, and we'll select the ring from here. So edge ring, we'll select it. So control right click and go to edge ring utilities to edge ring. So it selected the entire ring for that particular loop, and it selected the entire edge ring, not loop and all. I'm just over speaking. And then control right click 2 faces and 2 faces. So it will select all the faces associated with those edges. Now control backspace because we don't need them anymore. And now let's do the stitching part. So F10 again, and we'll probably bridge these things together. So shift right click and bridge. Make sure we have like 0 divisions over here and bridge. So the same thing goes for here. G, just keep pressing G on your keyboard and it will automatically do everything. Although these here are bothering me a lot, so let's isolate our selection, and now we'll do our bridging process, bridging thing, process, whatever. G, G, G. Now as soon as we start reaching the end, you will notice that there's a little bit of stretch over here in the polygon. So we'll we'll avoid this part. We'll start stitching it from here to here, right, and till here. We'll do this, and oh my bad, sorry, I went to the other side of the symmetry. I shouldn't have done this. G, and I think this one G. All right. So now we have a triangle and we have a quad. This quad is an easy job. Just shift right click and fill hole. This we have to see how can we manage this. But before that, this part is not correct. So इसको थोड़ा नीचे की तरफ push कर देते हैं. Over here. right click, multi-cut tool, just insert edge loop tool over here, and this is a problem again, so we don't want this to happen right now. I want an edge loop over here so that I can maintain this stretch. There is a lot of stretch over here, so we have to divert this again by ourselves. So multi-cut tool, and let's do it by ourselves. You'll also notice that I'm just working on one side of the geometry. I'm not touching the other side because anyways, I have to just delete this entire other side and stitch these vertices again. So rather just work on one half, and we'll mirror it later. Mesh is not loading up. We have to see what's happening. Oh, we are into isolation mode. Sorry, I didn't notice. We were into isolation mode all along. Okay. So hands loaded up. We have to delete this mesh because we don't need it anymore. And like usual, hand just came out as an individual polygon, so we have to combine it again. Before that, let's just move this mesh to retopo meshes layer. Alright, done. Now select all this part. Can we please? Yeah, thank you. And actually we don't need the other side because eventually we are going to mirror it. So just for the sake of performance, you can just delete the other side. So let's combine the mesh first, and then we'll try to separate it. Let's see if we can succeed in that. I just want to separate this part from this one so that we can just have one half of the hand, not the other one. Mesh, combine. Okay, so F11, select this whole thing. And delete. That will reduce a lot of polygons from our file. Okay, so finally file loaded. Alright, so this much I have done for the hand. It's very simple. Like we did for the torso, we actually followed these loops which came from the neck and pulled it down to the chest. The same way I wanted to pull these loops at the shoulder, I want to pull them to the end of the hand or to the wrist. Now the problem, no, actually there is no problem. Yeah. Now we have like 10 edges over here, so I wanted to keep the same number of edges in the hand itself so that we can stitch it very easily once we are done with our hand retopo. Alright, so I think this part is fairly done. Now let's say make it live. We'll select this one, we'll hide any other geometry, and let's go into X-ray mode. What is this? I think, yeah, X-ray mode. I'm intentionally not doing this part because I'll just bevel it. I'll just bevel it by myself at a later point of time. अभी ये सब करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, फालतू पागलपन अभी कुछ नहीं. Now the important part is we want to link these fingers to the wrist. So let's work on fingers first. Fastest finger fast. I want to keep it as simple as possible because I just want to see how many loops I end up with when I come over here after completing the hand. If I feel like adding some more loops, or I will have a space of adding more loops, I'll do that. But right now just try to keep these loops as minimum as possible. Okay, so now it's a matter of bridging these things, but I am not doing it right now because let's count number of loops first. How many loops do we have? So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And here comes the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Oh, I think I mistook somewhere. I think I miscalculated somewhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We definitely have 11 loops over here. But here in the hand we have only 10. And there's one more problem. So far I have only 4 edges in the finger. I at least need 8 of them to make it look circular. So we have to add that one also. Let's see, I think we'll end up having a lot more loops than these 10 these 10 loops at the wrist, so we have to find a way to stitch them. Okay, so let's correct these fingers first. These looks much more circular right now. This looks much more circular nitro. And now let's add these 3 loops, two more loops, sorry, for the finger bend. These are the points where finger will bend. So you have to be very careful about this. You cannot just add it anywhere, because this guy is gonna hold arrows, bows and all that stuff. So this fist and all should look good. And one over here. Here we can add one more extra just to maintain the volume of the thumb. Although the bending will only happen from this point. From here, yeah. This is extra loop. This will not bend. This is just here to maintain the skin volume. Now we are having a lot more loops, and this much loop is more than enough for the this much amount of loop actually is more than enough for hand. Now we have to see how to calculate, how to stitch it. We have somehow 20 loops. That means for every one loop we can associate 2 loop, every one loop of every one edge of hand, every one edge of wrist we can associate 2 edges of hand. That means there's gonna be lot of triangles, and that's gonna be a pain because we cannot have that many triangles over here. It will completely mess up the twist. We have to add 2 and I think 3 more edge loops. one for this, right, for the middle part, for this, and we need two over here. So this one will go away, 1 and 2, because there's going to be lot of stretch between thumb and index finger. We need at least 2 loops over here. So now we are having like some 1, 2, 3, 4 more edges. Let's see how can we do it. Okay, so what am I planning here is that I'll stitch it across with some triangles and quads. We'll have a lot of uneven triangles and quads over here, but instead of putting it over here to the wrist, I'll put these intersections in here somewhere, because in the next part when we are going to make it, we'll have a forearm armor over here. So whatever the twisting and all is happening, that will happen inside this plate, right? It will be covered by a forearm kind of armor and all, so it will be covered by that, so nobody will even know that something like that is happening underground, and we can easily manage our twist and everything. So I think that will be the better idea, or maybe I can just keep it like this. I need not to actually stitch it along. Let's see. First of all, I'll just move it over here somewhere. Yep. And I'm using the shift just so that these edges are maintained properly. Shift, click and drag to smooth it out, to smooth out the edges. Okay, and now I'll select this one and just drag it over here. Right, we'll do the same thing, quad draw, and use shift and drag on the vertices so that all these vertices fall in a single place. Okay, so they're snapping well right now. Let's add some edge loop over here and over here, because we would need them for the wristband. We'll not do it right now. First of all, we'll just try to manage these loops now. So one thing we surely can do is we can just combine these edges over here. We don't need them. Even though I'm not stitching my hand to the forearm, I still want to reduce number of polys. because it will just make unnecessary number of polys will make rigger's life difficult, and I surely don't want that to happen. You might be thinking why we are doing work in ZBrush when we eventually have to come to Maya and redo everything, every single loop we have to do. I just like working in ZBrush and then Maya because I can fully focus on the character part first without being bothered about loops and polygons and all these things. And once my character creation process is done and I am happy with the results, then I can come back to Maya and manage all the loops and everything. Although it's little bit of extra work, but it's a trade-off. It's like you put some extra amount and you get much better character compared to directly doing it in Maya or 3ds Max. Just my ideology. You don't have to force it to you yourself. It's just my thoughts. If you are too confused looking at these many loops, you can of course turn off the X-ray and zoom it out a bit so that you can see these loops clearly. But if you zoom in too much, you will see through this mesh. So again, that can be a problem for you. So I like how the thumb direction is formed here because it is like it's not completely down and it's not completely straight looking towards the finger. It's somewhere in between, and that's how your normal thumb looks like. And it becomes easier for rigger also to just put bones and do some natural orientation for the thumb. I have seen so many people who just point this thumb downwards directly. Let me show it to you, something like this. Oh, I cannot draw over here, yeah. So something like this. Don't have this kind of direction for the thumb. It should look somewhere over here, not exactly straight over here also. This is natural orientation of the thumb, right? So what is happening right now is we don't have any palm information over here. It's just loop running here and there. But anyways, we need a loop which goes from here to here, and this loop is fine. This loop is still fine over here. And what if we can have one more loop over here, which will maintain the bump on near the fingers? So we have to think about it. Maybe we need to add one more edge loop over here and lift it up a bit more. For here definitely we want to change the loop formation. So let's try do something, let's try to achieve the loop formation for the palm. Let's see if we can really achieve it or not. Also, I'm not like super pro modeler here. I'm still learning. So you might be the person who is watching this video and thinking, what the hell is he doing? Please go ahead and correct me. I love to learn new things. I love to learn new techniques. If anybody can correct me and teach me a better way to do things, you're always more than welcome. We need to figure out where the elbow will come. So let's delete this for now. And the problem is, even in the real model, I haven't made elbow at all. So now it's a matter of calculation that I have to do calculations by myself. I think elbow should be here. That will give us enough room to bend the bicep and the forearm. So we need a loop for the forearm, we need a loop for the bicep over here. Yeah, elbow can be here somewhere, because let's say if this hand bends down, so the elbow will come over here, end of the rib cage. I think that should be the right place. Okay, once that is done, let's add a loop over here for the upper arm. And now we can just go ahead and stitch this part to our armor. Can we do that? Let's turn off the make live, hide the ZBrush mesh. This one will shift right click and smooth, oh not smooth, sorry, shift right click, soften it, soften. Okay, so it's almost done. Let's soften this up, and we are still left to do two more things, adding this adding bevel over here, these two loops. So select this, go to actually select this one also, go to edge ring. Once it selects the edge ring, you can go to faces. You have to control and right click, press control and right click, and then it will bring this menu for edge rings, edge loops and faces. Okay, now shift right click and extrude face, extrude face and thickness maybe, yeah, but we have to press control and along with it control and drag. Alright, offset also, because we want it to be little bit thinner, something like this I guess. Yeah, looks good. F8. Now this is little too hard edged, so shift right click, soften edge. Okay, so this part is done. Now it's time for us to make these forearm bracelets which he is wearing. So first of all, we'll delete the hand mesh which we imported before. We cannot afford to have too many polygons here. Okay, and save. Now let's import the other geometry and we'll start working on that. That's surprising. It's just one single geometry. It never happened to any of the subtools so far. But anyways, let's go to F11. Let's go to faces and select all the faces and delete, so that we have only one half of the symmetry. Okay, and now we have to make this. Easy job. I think we can directly just perform a retopo on this one in ZBrush and bring it over here. That would be a better idea, but still now it will take equal amount of time doing it over here, doing it over there. Doesn't matter much. One thing I just noticed, I think the hand and the arm. So the arm is not perfectly straight. It is like there's a little bit of curve here. I don't know, should this curve be here or not. So what we'll do, we'll select these two edge loops. We'll press B for soft selection. Press B and drag with your mouse click, so that you can adjust the size of the soft selection and drag it down a bit. Actually, we have to do it from here. And let's see if this helps. You can do it even more, I think. Yeah, I think this looks much better. Arms are a little bit more straight. Yeah, this looks definitely better. So Control S again. You can do one more thing if your file is getting little. What am I saying? You can do one more thing if your file is getting little too heavy for your computer to handle. You can select all these mesh, or you can just go to Edit, delete all per type history. So what it will do is that it will clear all the nodes, or I'll show it over here before delete history. See, whenever you create a mesh, it saves all the history information for your mesh. So for this one, we have this much of history. Now it definitely saves somewhere and it increases the load on the file. So when you go to Edit, delete all by type history, it deletes all the history for all the meshes. That means even skin clusters and all. So you should be careful. If you are doing rigging, then you should not do this action. Otherwise your rig will be totally messed up. Now your file should be a lot lightweight after removing all the history. See, there is no history on any of the meshes. One more thing I noticed, we are saving the file in .mb format. Bad idea. Let's just save it in MA. Yeah, that can be a problem definitely, because while doing the rigging, this hand has to be straight. Otherwise, bone will be tilted. So what we'll do, F11 or F9 itself. Select all the vertices. Shift and right arrow key. Not that arrow key, the one arrow key next to the M and next to that. So that will expand or what? That will expand or de-expand or contract, sorry, or shrink your selection. De-expand. Good. Now once I have this selected, press E and D to shift the pivot over here to the shoulder, right? Once you do that, you can see that your handler or your manipulation or your manipulator shifted to the shoulder. You can just rotate it like this. So doing retopo for this one will be very simpler. As you can already see, just first we need to move this mesh to retopo meshes, and yeah, let's make it live as of now. We need two poly loops here. One is this one is this one. These two are important actually, and another one is this, of course. We can have 8 edge loops across the circumference. That's what we can do, or maybe we can keep it 10 just to maintain the consistency with the arm. And I think it's pretty much done. You just need to add 2 more loops, 2 or 3 more loops actually. So 1, 2 and 3, and it is done. It will support the twist for the forearm, and it won't have much twist actually, because this is piece of metal, so adding too much twist to the metal piece will not look good. It will look like rubber. So probably we should remove this one as well, because this has to be very hard surface. And rest of this just looks fine. Let's press shift and adjust these loops a little bit. Is little off. So we are trying to adjust this, and rest all looks fine. Now this is little off as well. This is little off as well. That is little off as well. Oh my god, so many things are off. Oh, phew. It's a work of patience, for sure. Shift right click, soften hard edge and soften hard edge. Alright, so hand is done. Okay, so we have lower body over here now. It has like shoes and everything in a one single mesh. That's not a problem. And we'll try to make belt above the same mesh as well. Can be a little bit tricky work to do, but we'll do it. So right click and add mesh to the selected layer. And this one, we don't need to make body from here. We definitely don't need to. And first of all, we should just go to mesh, combine, and then add it to layer 1. Okay, so select the mesh, add it to selected object, add selected object to layer 1. And now if we unhide it, what we can actually do here, is we can just take this armor loops and just drag them down and make legs and feet out of it. That can be a really efficient way, because we are having this entire thing as a one single geometry, and where we need different geometries, like this mustache can be in the same geometry. These hair has to be different because this will follow through and overlap, and if we add follow through in the same mesh, you might see some kind of stretch in the skin as well. This part is must, because we have like some hidden polygons over here which we don't want people to see, right? This one has to be fill hole. Okay, that's why I couldn't speak well. Yeah, so that was the thing. And what did I just do? 0. Oops, I messed it up. Yeah, so just got distracted, wanted to correct that right immediately, otherwise I would have forgot that. So I was saying, like, this part is also required. Now for the legs and lower body, we can just extrude these polygons and we'll make the lower body out of it. But before that, now it's about time that we should take a backup of our file, because we have worked a little too much. It's underscore version 1.0.